Coming to you live after a great weekend in Miami for the Miami Marathon Race Weekend. Good afternoon. I'm the Reggae Marathon running guy, that running guy. Wanted to say thank you, first of all, to all the runners who stopped by our booth in Miami to say hi and take some photos. We shared a number of them yesterday on our Facebook page. It's great to see you all in Miami. We're looking forward to seeing you this December in Negril, December 2nd. Special shout-outs, though, to a couple of organizations. First of all, the Jamaica Tourist Board for your continued support for Reggae Marathon. And to the Reggae Runners. Ladies, thank you for stopping by. It was great to see you. Thanks for the photos, and we look forward to seeing you all, your big group again this December. Now, today we're answering questions about Reggae Marathon. Thank you, those of you who sent some questions in. We're going to be able to answer those today for sure. If you think of anything during this live feed, just leave a comment, and if we don't get to it today, for sure we'll get to it afterwards on a Facebook page. First of all, though, do you like my t-shirt? This is the t-shirt from Reggae Marathon 2016, a unique design and a unique color for every year. This is my 8th one, looking forward to number 9 this December. Race shirts like this are included for every runner in your race kits. Also, do you like the medal? This is last year's medal from 2016. There we go. What sets it apart, I did the 10K last year. What sets it apart is the color of the lanyard. So you have a different colored lanyard for the 10K, half, and the full marathon. So if that was your first, by the way, if that was your first medal last year, congratulations. It's one of those events, Reggae Marathon is anyway, that just gets under your skin. And, you love it, you stay with it, and you keep coming back. As I mentioned, this year will be my 9th. Now on to your questions. Again, thank you very much for sending them in. First question that we got a few ask about this is, where does Reggae Marathon take place? I mean, we know it's Negril, Jamaica, but where does it actually take place? Well, it's actually centered around 2 locations. The first one is the Couples Swept Away Resort, which is on Norman Washington Boulevard in Negril. That's where you pick up your race kit. That's where you can register at the last minute if you choose to do that. And it's not very far from the start-finish line, which is at Long Bay Beach Park. It's a short walk from Couples over to the start-finish area. That's also Long Bay Beach Park, where the finisher party happens as well. So very central to the strip in Negril, and very easy to get to. All 3 races take place at the same course, basically. It's a closed loop course. If you're running the full marathon, you get to run 2 loops. If you're running the 10K, it's a shortened 6-point-whatever-mile loop to get back to the start-finish area. And if you're running the half marathon, you run a full loop. It's all a closed course to traffic for most of the morning. Race time, 5:15 a.m. Can't stress that enough, 5:15 a.m. And even though it's Jamaica, it does not start late. Frano, our race director, has been actively promoting the fact that we start the race at 5:15 promptly every December. So remember that. It's 5:15 a.m. It's in the pre-dawn. Lots of lights at the start, and the road is lit along the way. Second question, where do I pick up my Reggae Marathon race kit? I did touch on that before. It's the Couples Swept Away Sporting Complex, which is actually across the road from the Couples Resort. Tennis courts, that's where the swimming pool is, and the big open area. Media tent is generally set up in that area as well. On one of the courts, just inside the entrance, that's where you pick up your race kits. Special Puma bag, of course, loaded with goodies, including your ticket for the pasta party. The race kits can be picked up on November 30th this year, Thursday, Friday as well, December 1st, but please keep in mind there is no race kit pickup on the morning of the race. We start too early, and we have to transfer from Couples Swept Away over to the start at Long Bay Beach Park. So no race kit pickup on Saturday morning. The next question we got is, and it's a good one, is the pasta party free? Well, of course, nothing in life ever is free, but the price of the pasta party is included for all runners who register. If you have a non-runner traveling with you, there's a nominal cost. You can pick up and purchase that ticket when you come and pick up your registration. But for runners, all runners, the world's greatest pasta party is included in your race kit registration. What's the best hotel to stay at for Reggae Marathon? That's a really good question as well, and we do get a number of people who ask about that, and did get a number of questions on that this year. Tough question, given that there are so many choices that you can make in Negril, from the beachside all-inclusives to more family-oriented smaller resorts along the beach strip, all the way over to the West End cliffs where there are some smaller boutique-style hotels. Really good resource for you would be to go to the Reggae Marathon website, reggaemarathon.com, and look under accommodations, because on there is a really, really cool feature. I used it my first year. When you look at a hotel and pick a hotel, it tells you the approximate distance from the start-finish line. So a really great feature in terms of helping you decide which resort to pick up on. Now, one of the things you should keep in mind, it's a relatively small area. I say relatively small. It's a long beach, miles long white sand beach. But you really want to think about registering early and booking with hotels fairly early in the year once you get your decision made. And even if you haven't, it's a great motivator to get you to keep running all summer. So you've got lots of choices, but go to the website and you'll find a link there that tells you where to find and what hotels to find, and give you the approximate distance. How do I get around Negril? Well, that's always a challenge because it's a long strip, right? And the central area of Negril, the town of it, is actually the roundabout. We actually run to it. It's about 3 miles or so from the start-finish line, just a little under 3 miles. If you're staying within 1.5 miles or so from the start-finish area from couples, walking. That's probably the best way to get around. If you're a little bit farther out, of course, taxis are plentiful and they're reasonably priced. So it's not that hard to get around Negril. We do a lot of walking. Of course, we're runners, so we don't mind doing the walking. And the question that we get probably asked most often is, how hot is it? Really? Now, I've run 8. I've done the full marathon, halves, and the 10Ks. 26 degrees is the approximate 5:15 a.m. morning temperature. It could be as low as 23, 24 degrees, which is definitely cooler. Warmer than the conditions if you're coming from up north or from Europe, anywhere north and outside of Jamaica. It's definitely warmer than you're used to. About 30 degrees, 29 degrees or so at finish time if you're running the full marathon. And again, that's definitely a lot warmer. When the sun comes up, it is definitely more intense. So what do you need to do? First thing, if you're not from the island, if you're coming from off the island, if you're coming from up north, and if you're coming from places that are cooler, you're going to have to adjust. And that's as simple as that. Just adjust to the fact that you might run a little bit slower, and then you got to take care of yourself. Doing the 10K, not too affected because you generally are finished by about the time the sun starts to break the horizon. If you're running the longer distances, though, a couple of 3 things you have to keep in mind. Number 1, hydration. Every mile along the course, there are aid stations. And at those aid stations, they distribute cool water as well as electrolyte replacement fluids in a really, really cool plastic pouch. If you've never seen those before, it's the greatest way I've seen so far. And I've run a lot of marathons and halves and 10Ks to get hydration. You can also squirt them over your head, too. They're really cool. So take advantage of that. Number 2, sunscreen if you're running a long distance. You don't want to be out in the sun without sunscreen. Number 3, keep your head covered. Keep the hat on the head and be prepared to put it on once the sun does come up. So again, keep hydrated. Accept the fact that it's a little bit warmer than you're used to, and then just run accordingly and hydrate as you get through the course. And the final question that we got this time out was, is there a baggage check? And that's always a big question, right? Do you want to know what to bring? Do you have to leave everything at your hotel? No. There is a really good secure baggage check area right near the start-finish line. And the one thing I'll remind you to do is to bring a towel. You're going to need it because after the race, you have a chance to run out into the ocean, the Caribbean Sea. It's nice and warm, nice and refreshing. I say warm because, you know, where you come from, if you're living north, any body of water can be icy at that time of year, but it's very, very cool and very refreshing when you jump into the sea right after. And you're going to want to dry off. So again, as I mentioned, one of the best resources for information about Reggae Marathon is the website. It's got the secure registration link on there. The blog is on there as well. That's where we do, provide runner stories throughout the years, as well as information on upcoming activities and upcoming information about the event. You definitely want to check that out. And we have some training tips on there as well. As well, you want to take a look at our Facebook page. Come back here often because we do use this as our main communication channel for providing updates on everything to do with Reggae Marathon. So again, November 30th, 1st, and 2nd for race day for Reggae Marathon 2017. We look forward to seeing you then. Hopefully we've answered your questions today. We'll see you again in about a month with some more updates on Reggae Marathon.